It is not the RSM DFS Classic preview. It's the betting preview. Ryan Noonan, Andy Molitor, ready to wrap up the swing season. Andy, how we doing?
Good. I'm not good. Great. I'm excited about this one. I've been really close to like 3 weeks in a row to betting the guy who won. Like I go back and it's one of those where you don't want to go back and look at your numbers, but like how high did I have this guy? I felt like I almost played him, which is a good way to get in your head and add way too many outrights the weekend. Like maybe if I play 10 outrights, I'll find the guy next week, which was close to doing this week, but I abstained. I have more than I would have liked, but honestly, this could just be Tony wins again. Because Christ almighty, he's playing good.
Yeah, you were on Tony a couple of weeks ago, and then not back on the Tony wagon last week, of course, in the wins. But yeah, you've been in the mix on Sunday. You've had some shots here, so hey, we'll do it. Put it all together this week.
Yeah, Noren played pretty well. Just
he was in the mix.
There.
Yeah,
like I think half the leaderboard had an X in their name. There was like a bunch of Alexes but Taylor. What's this Alexander guy that I don't know a ton about.
Same.
But, yeah, we'll get there. Matchups won some money, which was good. That's been a scuffling of late. The swing season's always tough, but it was nice. I ended up in the plus on the tournament, which is all a guy can ask for, honestly.
Yeah, it's good. Put it all together, put a little bow on the swing season, take a little bit off, and then right around the corner, it's January. It's coming. We have the real big boy season, that Tournament of Champions there, first week in January, and hit the ground running and get ready for an exciting season. Our year 2, or I guess really we could say our first official full season at BetSports Golf coming up, because we jumped in the middle of things last year, and excited about all the things that are going on there. New stat customizable database, which we've been playing around with, is going to be live here in a matter of days, which won't do anything for you currently because we won't have any golf tournaments to feed into it, but it will again in January when we come back with the full slate of stuff. So excited about all that. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up and get a winner here at the RSM. So I kind of like this events. I like when we have kind of these spots where everyone can kind of win or anyone can come together. And that's kind of what we have here. If you're not familiar, this one's been around for a while. It's been moved at times, and be interested to see. I'm not even sure exactly what happens with the swing season moving around, but we're in Sea Island, Georgia, St. Simon's Island. The 2 courses. We have the Plantation course, which everyone will see either on Thursday or Friday, and then the main course, the Seaside course, will be part of the weekend. So if you play and make the weekend and make the cut, you will play 3 rounds on Seaside. That, of course, has shot link data. Plantation does not. We run into this, obviously, a handful of times. American Express, Torrey Pines, where we have these, mixed events, especially early in the season, and we don't have shot link data. Plantation course plays a little bit easier. It is a par 72. The length of it is very similar to what the Seaside is. You just have some scoreable par 5s. That makes it a little bit different, but both tracks are fairly easy. They're pretty straightforward. We kind of know, when you look at past leaderboards, what the recipe for success is here. Fairways off the tee, though it's pretty wide fairways, and the rough is not super penal unless you're spraying it. At that elite approach bucket, basically 125 to 175, if you're dialed in there, you're going to be in good shape. They've done some renovation here over the last couple of years to change a little bit of the tiered of the Bermuda grass bunker. Yeah, Bermuda grass bunkers. So you want to be in the right side, the right level of the green. And then you got to get high with the putter, because you were looking at like 19, 22 under, basically what happens to get you to the winner's circle here on Sunday. So pretty straightforward. And we've seen some guys that are, guys that basically can't compete anywhere else, right? The Tyler Duncans and those guys of the world that don't typically have a fair shake of it elsewhere. They can win here.
Yeah, and when I ran my numbers, it just basically told me what I thought it was going to tell me. Hey, Tony Finau is a god among men in this field. He's an elite player. He's a top 5 player right now, and he should beat the tar out of these guys. But this tournament has, and probably always will be a putting contest. When you get to these, that's what you remember the comments from John Rahm a few years back at whatever tournament it was, where he just got all mad about it. And that's why he should get mad about that sort of stuff. It takes away the advantage that an elite player has over a worse player, because it just turns into the luck of who gets hot with their putter. And it almost just takes away the rest of the game, which isn't super true here. But if you read Ron's preview, and I've read his among others, it's the time of year where this grass just isn't the same in the rough, because of it's off season. It's not the summer. The Bermuda's not going to grab at the ball the same way. You're not going to get this unpredictable spin and distance out of the rough. The fairways are a mile wide anyway. The greens are the size of a major metropolitan city at this point. And yeah, there's tiers, and you do got to find the right spot. But for the most part, with less than penal rough, big fairways, and huge greens, you're going to be able to throw some darts. And for the guys that getting there in 2 or finding these big par 3s, it's going to have some easy putts. And unless they're really screwing up the location of their second shots, even in ones where they're not the tougher holes, it's like, well, this is a really easy 2-putt. I'm just going to lag it up there. I'm downhill. This might even fall if I'm lucky. So it is going to be kind of a gross putting contest, which leads yourself to some long shots. I didn't go too far down the board, though. I know I've seen some people play like Akshay and some big names, and like, just as long as he has an Instagram model on the bag, I don't think I can play him. But I seen some big numbers on the board for some people. I wasn't quite willing to go that deep, because there are some guys in this middling tier that are just like, man, this guy is going to win, or going to win again, or this guy's about ready to pop. And just kind of went with my numbers, my course fits, my form, how they're playing with their irons right now, how their ball striking is, and tried to pick some guys as well who have had, hot runs on Bermuda as well, which isn't always, it isn't always super predictive. Ask Sam Burns how he did the other week. Like, Bermuda Burns was right down there with Austin Smotherman at the bottom of the leaderboard. So yeah, not super predictive, but you have no idea who I've played.
I have no idea. Yeah, I usually know, right? Like sometimes, like we for our subscribers, we have a Discord, subscriber only Discord, where we push all of our picks through. So typically, I have access to Andy knows what I've played, which I typically make most of my bets on Monday. For outrights. So typically I see Andy stuff. He has not put it in the Discord yet. So actually it's interesting. And I like this because then I can see if I have a feel for, if he's going to go to some Andy guys or some other guys that maybe are profiling as good plays and my numbers, see kind of where Andy and I are at. Until we go live with the tool. One of the features I'm really excited about when we go live with the customizable stats on BetSports Golf is the ability to share and save basically the modeling numbers that we run. So if I want to go in and look at what Andy's running and see what he values this week, see if there's a leak in what I'm running, see what Ron's running, and that'll be, accessible to any subscriber as well. If you want to see what we have prioritized for the week, and then kind of build off of that, that'll be available for you too. So I'm excited to have that be part of my process moving forward. But yeah, I'm blind at the top. I'm with you. I mean, obviously Tony is the belle of the ball in this class. He's really got the monkey off his back as far as the Tony can't win anymore thing. Like, that's long gone. We saw back-to-back wins during the regular season, obviously last week. And then when you kind of look at the rest of the board, like, I think the rest of the field is too close to him. When you kind of look at the second tier, I do think that Tony does probably have twice the win equity of the rest of the field. So I don't hate going back to that. Well, if you just say, hey, I want to make a really clean card, I'm going back to Finau. This is his spot. 850, 9-1s are still floating around. I know Tony's been a guy that you've been on. I'm guessing you probably considered Tony. I'm thinking you probably fired on Tony. You muted because you coughed, and we all appreciate that.
Not official Discord BetSports Golf plays, because these were small, fun ones. But I did parlay Tony a couple different ways. We went Tony plus Georgia to win the Natty, because it's just they're so similar as far as people that are just far and away better than the field.
Yeah.
Like, my God, Georgia will just rack whatever Big Ten team makes it out of there. And I hate playing a low price like this, but I like making a parlay. And then just because we do have the DP championship, and another guy who's just kind of been on a tear, I did Tony, Rory, Georgia ticket, and that's like 70-1. So some small bets on there, but no, off the top, the shortest bets were made by you. So I'll have you start with a guy that again almost made my card in Tommy Tables. Was dangerously close. I wanted a little better price on this. I was hoping for a 35, but like you said, there's this weird spot where there's not that many people. Like who are you going to put next? You know, it's funny. Like Brian Harman is your second favorite here. So I get it. It's hard to make some of these guys like 30-1.
Yeah, Harman is, he's got a couple things going for him. He's been playing pretty well, but he's a local kid too. And, you have a lot of guys in the field, and I think that could be a play too. Hey, I just want to go with some South Carolina guys, and you have, Harris English, Keith Mitchell, JT Poston, Kisner, Pat Kazire. Harman's probably, the best of that bunch. That makes some sense. And yeah, I went Tom Hoge to start. I'm happy with a 30 in this field because I think there's a case that when you kind of look at the rest of it, actually the modeling kind of runs that way too. If I basically play around with like range of dates, 24 rounds, 36 rounds, 50 rounds, actually Hoge and what I value in this field rates out number one. I mean, it's really close. Finau is right there. He's number two in all of it. But I guess I'm just, the things I'm weighing a little bit more. That's just kind of Hoge. He's accurate off the tee. He's going to give himself a ton of scoring chances. So if the putter is good or not, we'll see. But it's been really good all swing season. He missed the cut on the number last time out at Mayakoba, but previously T13 or better in the 4 swing season starts. Okay, so he's typically not much of a gaining putting guy, but if he is, this is a nice little spot. And T4 here last year, he's definitely comfortable. Yeah. And just again, most of his really best finishes career-wise have been on similar smallish coastal style layouts. So yeah, 30 for Tom Hoge I think is a good price. There's some short 20s out there, so if you can still find a 30, I think it's fair.
I'm a Hoge guy. Just looking, do I have him? Yeah, I have him right there. I just wanted a little better number. I have him right right behind. I have him ahead of Harman. Like, I think he should be in the Harman spot compared to Harman being your second favorite. And, the sleep in your own bed narrative is fun and all, but it doesn't really ever work. And, like, I brought this story up on Brown Bag yesterday. I said I made a DFS lineup last year of only guys who live on Sea Island. One of those guys made the cut. That was a 1 for 6 DFS lineup, guys. I think it was Keith Mitchell made it through, but like English and it's all just the guys. It's all the Georgia Bulldogs. So
yeah.
Speaking of, I'm gonna make you keep going because you still have the shortest number on the of the remaining bets.
Yeah. It did go to Keith Mitchell.
A local. I think he's the guy who played the best out of the Sea Islanders last year. He is a local. He lives here. He went to Georgia. He's familiar, and another guy that I was super close on for a few weeks. Like he was seemingly a guy that almost made my card half the damn swing season. Anytime he was in the field.
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, we're coming off of a T9 last week in Houston. He is an elite driver of the golf ball. Does not give up much in terms of distance, but is fairly accurate as far as a lot of the guys you're looking at total driving as a statistic. Keith Mitchell is usually among the leaders there. And yeah, T14 here twice in the last 3 seasons. Obviously back in familiar territory, custom greens that he is very familiar with. So yeah, 33 is probably a little rich, but I had him profiling pretty well here. And yeah, form wise, obviously you like seeing him come off of a T9, and I feel like he's been around for a while. He's still just 30. Like I still feel, which is not young per se, but I still feel like he is just one of those guys that, I don't know, he's still a little too old to put him in like he's the young guy that's going to pop kind of tier, but I still just think that the talent is better than what we've seen from him. If he can just be a little bit more consistent, I think he's a guy that can find his way on a lot of cards for me coming up this season. So yeah, I mean, I like seeing him play well last week. The approach was really good last week too, which is nice. It wasn't like it was just he's running hot on the greens. The iron play was nice. So yeah, about 33-1 on MGM on Killer Keith.
Killa. Writing this down. Keith. I like giving him the nickname. Wiley hates it. Wiley hates that they give him that nickname. I don't know why. It bugs the hell out of him. First up on my card, and again, surprise, surprise, puppy
Here we go.
surprise.
All right, well, hold on. Let me look around a little bit. Let me get me a. It's a putting contest, so Taylor Montgomery is a viable option here.
I thought I was going to play him too. His number sucks.
I know
he's probably going to win, and he's going to win, and I'm not going to be on him. I'm going to be upset because I've bet him a few times.
Chris is 40, which is way different than the rest of the market.
Yeah, I know. I thought about it there, but at that point, I'd already played a couple. I'm like, shit.
Yeah. All right, so he's not on. Gosh, how far down are we going here? Because I know I have a guy. So I'm trying to like stay between my next guy and your guy. But Matt Nesmith.
Matt Nesmith, 44.50.
Yes.
You can find a better number on him, probably around. But Matt Nesmith is another one where it's probably more for him. But he's also been an Andy guy. He's been the kind of guy who does the kind of things that matter here, that matter everywhere, and his putting on Bermuda is above average, especially compared to where he putts normally. But yeah, just form. And yeah, the Houston wasn't great, but before that, Sanderson, Shriner, Zozo, top tens. He had a nice summer / late fall, or excuse me, late spring, early summer, where he had some nice results. He played well at the U.S. Open, which was surprising. And I don't like to use previous results here, but he has played here in the past. He played pretty well. He did gain on the green last year. Kind of just looking for guys who have had some nice moments on the green. Most of his bad moments on the green have been courses that aren't similar to this. So it's like, well, hopefully he can putt on Bermuda, because I do have some decent results for him on similar courses. And then, yeah, it's more of a form thing. Like, he's playing really well right now. 44, 45, whatever you want to call it. That's a bit much.
Yeah. Didn't he propose to his wife at Harbor Town? Is he I think that's who. Yeah, I think that's the guy that did it. So yeah,
could have been.
This is his neck of the woods. He's nape of the neck. He's very familiar and comfortable in South Carolina. So yeah, Nesmith is an Andy guy, and that makes a ton of sense. Guy, again, like when you think about Harbor Town, this is a very similar type of thing, right? Where we, guys that aren't getting out there and bombing it, where Stu Sink can go out and win in a very competitive field. This is kind of where the Nesmiths of the world make a lot of sense. So yeah, I like that one.
My next one is also ahead of yours.
Okay, I like this game.
I like this game.
Yep, I like.
You know the guys I like.
Yep. So we you're not typically a Denny McCarthy guy.
No, I'm not. And I do like him. I think he actually is playing well right now, but I had to pass on him.
You either went back to Andrew Putnam or you're on Joel Damon.
I thought about Joel Damon. It was right in that spot too. He was the first cut. Joel Damon was first cut.
Yeah,
Davis Riley. Riley, you can find him at 50 at some spots.
Yeah.
Those spots require me to drive to Iowa. I was forced to play at 4,500 here at Bet Online. That's what I got him at. He's another guy I've bet a few times. He's another guy that is going to win. He has putted okay on Bermuda. He was decent the last couple weeks. I want to say Mayakoba. He almost top 20'd. This is a spot too where his best golf was in the spring, like the weird Mexico Open, the one that John Rahm won. He has played well on some of these these Bermuda courses. Missed the cut here last year, so maybe a little tough luck there. But if you go look through his rounds, he had some spike putting rounds. I love to see that on a putting contest like this. His driving accuracy is decent. He drives the ball. You don't have to drive the ball very far. There's so many holes where you're not going to be using driver. There's some water danger here. You can say these fairways are a mile wide. You still don't want to drive it into the marshes like that. There's a high level of penalty shots at a spot like this where if you miss and you miss bad, you're taking a drop because it ended up in a goddamn swamp. So I do I do value some accuracy. I'm not looking for the guys who are pinpoint, but more of the not fairways hit, but good drives gained is a nice metric for this, because it's like, did you find the green on your next shot? On your par 4, or did you find the green on your third shot for a par 5? Like, so you can end up in the rough and it can be considered a good drive gained because you found the green in regulation anyway. So just looking for guys who aren't missing by a mile here. I need someone who's, if you're missing, you're aim small, miss small here. So Riley kind of hits all those buckets here. 45-1. I like him.
Massive discrepancy on domestics on Davis Riley. DraftKings still hanging a 50, and FanDuel obviously took a pounding because it's 26.
This is wild. That we're back to those kind of tournaments. It's one of those where, my God, at least have 2 books, guys. Yeah, because there are some huge differences all week.
Yeah, I mean, you think of so FanDuel has Hoge and Riley at the same price. They're both 26. Hoge is 20 on DraftKings, and Riley is 50 on DraftKings. So, you have to have multiple books. Please, for the love of God, don't be. And again, you want the winner wherever. You're going to be mad that you got the winner at 26. Be like, you very easily could have had the winner at 50. Take advantage of that. So it adds up over the course of the season. But yeah,
it does add up. All right, now we're finally to your next one.
I don't know that I don't think I've ever talked about this guy on the show. I'm not sure I've ever bet him, and it was
almost certain you haven't.
Justin Rose, not for the faint of heart, because I feel like a mid-tournament back tweak is one swing away these days with Justin Rose. But I like how he played last week in Houston. He got in the mix a little bit. Did not putt well on Sunday, but he hit at least 10 of 13 fairways in every round. He gained strokes on approach in 3 of 4. One was just barely missed, but he gained a good amount. He played fairly well tee to green, and just a spot where he can kind of club it down and find fairways. He likes these greens. He only played here once. It was last year, T12. So at least he's had a little bit of experience here. I just don't think we were going to get these month runs or of any type of form for Justin Rose anymore at this time of his career. So I think if the form is going to be these little pockets, and I like that he's playing well right now. And I think 50 is maybe a little too long comparatively to the field when you kind of look at the rest of the guys around him. So like I said, not for everyone, not even for me, but I was I thought it probably should have been around 40, 42. And there are some of those out there. So 50 felt like a little bit of a long number on Justin Rose. So probably maybe the first experience, because very well on Thursday afternoon could be what the hell was I thinking on Justin Rose? But here we are, 50-1.
I feel like the last Justin Rose bet I made was him to miss the cut at the Masters a couple years back, where he was the first and second round leader. Just came out hot. I'm usually a Justin Rose fade, but I have bet on him.
Yeah, same. We'll get this on before we get Feinberg back on, because Feinberg would not be, if we had Jeff on the show, which, excited to get that back started again. That's going to be, you get the Justin Rose bets in before you get Feinberg in here, because I know he's a very anti-Justin Rose guy as well.
I think, I was going to say maybe the last Justin Rose outright bet I placed was the Masters he lost to Sergio. So I specifically remember having that bet and being I don't want to cheer for this. I want to cheer. I remember buying out where if Sergio won, I just didn't win a dime. I bet it live. It's I just want to cheer for Sergio, and if he loses, at least I'll make money. But if he wins, I'm not going to lose here. So that was I guess that was a good buyout. But yeah, I'm not a big Rose guy. I had 5. I bet 5 guys this week, and next one was a guy who played really well last week. I didn't think you were. You might have guessed this. I've been down this road before. It's another guy. Yeah. Hey, what's your best putting surface, Bermuda? How'd you play at Butterfield? I almost top 10. How'd you do last week? Top 5. How's your form? Been pretty good, except for Sanderson. Did you play well at Punta Cana? Fuck yeah, I got a top 5. So just, another one who missed the cut here last year, but I don't think we're looking at the same guy as we saw a year ago.
That's fair.
He's started to progress quite a bit. He's a guy who was in the playoffs. He's a good golfer now. He is someone who's live, and he gained 10 strokes total last week on the field. 7 the week before. Just really good form, playing well in the warm part of the season here down south. I expect him to putt well again this week, and he's another one too where he drives the ball hard, long, don't need it. But I think his accuracy actually ticks up a bit when he can club down. His greens and regulations numbers are semi-elite, and everyone's going to hit the greens, but I think just his proximity is going to be so nice. He's going to allow himself plenty of really nice scoring opportunities here.
Yep. Going to give himself a lot of opportunities for sure. So yeah, hoping that the club down thing helps him because you can spray it, but like if he's not needing to use the driver, that probably bodes pretty well for him here. So yeah, Smalley's a nice guy, tee to green.
Yeah, I would say that like that was my knock on him. It was like, oh, what if he sprays it? Like, man, is anybody going to spray it if they're just going to hit their threes and their 2 irons? And yeah, I'm not so sure that's going to be a thing for some of these guys. So maybe something to look at, downweighting. Downweighting some of the guys where, hey, everything clicks except his driving accuracy. Well, this might be a spot for him. So that's where I'm at with Smalley. I bet a Canadian. I bet you can get this one.
Okay. You bet a Canadian. Too far down, past Pendrith. We're past Mac Hughes as well, right? Svensson.
No, so Chris, and maybe this isn't always the best, is when a really liquid market is not putting any money on a guy, but Chris had a 68.50 on Pendrith.
Okay. I think that's a great number.
This was just hey, I know a really liquid market is kind of fading this guy, and he played like shit at Houston. And it's another guy who just, hey, I hit the ball a country mile, but I spray it a little. Like he's another one too where I think he fits in so well, and he had such a nice summer. He played well at some of these real soft courses. He had a 4-week stretch where he gained at least 6 strokes on the field, like back to back to back. Like if you want to count, I guess I should take St. Jude and throw that in there. But 4 out of 5 weeks, he had a good one. He played well at the Players. I know he had some time off in there, but yeah, Taylor Pendrith is my Canadian. I do love Svensson, though. I mean, it wasn't a bad guess with Svensson.
Yeah, that would have been a viable option. 66 is a fantastic number on Pendrith.
And so he gained, and he's done it before here. He gained 5.4 strokes total on the field. 5 of those came on the greens last year. He's playing a lot better than he was at that point last year. So if he can do that again with the putter, I will take a guy like this. Another one that, hey, he sprays, but if he's clubbing down, I think he's going to be a lot more accurate.
He's clubbing down, and the distance applies to everything in the bag, right? Like it's not just he's like long with his driver. Like he's going to have plus distance advantages with his irons, with his 3-wood, like everything that he's doing. So
yeah,
like there's still distance is always an advantage, right? If you're able to hit the ball in with a shorter club to be able to land softer and hold the greens, like that plays itself out throughout the back. And if they're forced to lay up here, which he is going to be, again, there's still an advantage with distance. So yeah, Pendrith at 66, when you're looking at basically 40s, everywhere else is where I didn't even consider it. I mean, there's a couple of 50s, MGM, about 365, but yeah, I mean that's off everywhere else. So
yeah, I know. I went looking. I said, man, if there's like a 55 or a 60, I'll have to think about this. And then I got that. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I'm playing him. So a little bit of an off-market number, but obviously pretty widely available. If it's just going to be not only that or widely available, but nice limits there. I feel bad now. Some of the prices that I've taken at BetUS, considering the fact that I can now only bet $25 on everything there. Apparently, like it's just done. So, all right, before I get to my final bomb, I'll let you slip one in here because I like this guy a lot.
Yeah, he's David Lipsky has been playing actually some pretty good golf. Surprisingly, he's pretty safe T40 option here too. I mean, he's finished at T40, T10, T22 his last 3 starts. Ranks in the top 10 for me in this field over the last 24 rounds, top 30, past 36 rounds. Finds fairways, solid approach game, and is going to give himself a fair amount of birdie looks. So, not a super sexy name, but when I ran stuff, I was like, David Lipsky looks really good here and looks off, brand as far as some of the guys around him. Let's go find a good David Lipsky number. And FanDuel had a 90, which is the best of the bunch. So yeah, Lipsky is my preferred bomb here this week.
Yeah, I struggled with the bombs, and I played one, technically.
Nice.
Hayden Buckley.
Yeah.
So Hayden Buckley can't putt. And Hayden Buckley's proximity numbers weren't that great when I started looking at the general area where a lot of these tee shots are going to be. But overall, just such a good driver of the ball, such a good ball striker. He even when he sprays, he finds the greens. He's going to put himself in position to score. Another one who just missed cut here last time he was here. But for a cheaper guy, I think maybe this is more of a DFS play too. I really like him in DFS, but I did want to put a little bit on him at 80-1. This is smaller bets. Out of the, obviously he's the longest number, but out of the 5, the one I like the least. He does have some glaring. If he doesn't putt well, he might not even find the weekend. Like the putter does have to show up.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that has been kind of a bugaboo for him. There hasn't been really a tournament. The last time he gained serious strokes on the greens was Sanderson 2 years ago. I mean, there's a lot more big red numbers on the greens. Barbasol, he one of those where make the cut and then clearly just fall down the leaderboard. Lost 8 strokes in the green at the Barbasol. Like, he can have really bad putting performances, but a few top 20s already in the swing season. Not the greatest performance at Mayakoba, but just semi-decent form and a really, really good ball striker. So I'll take it. And he is, middle of the pack with distance, but very accurate. He's had some high accuracy. I think that goes up. I think he's just, some of those proximity numbers might not matter when he has just, clear shots. He's putting the ball where he wants to in the fairways. When he's able to club down, he has really, really nice open angles into these greens, able to put it under the tier he wants it to. Yep. So he doesn't have to worry about 3 putting. So I like him quite a bit, considering the price at least.
Yeah, I like him too. Like you said, I mean, there's some of the proximity stuff is not great in the putting, but I don't know. I think he's another good young golfer, and I think he's going to give himself a lot of looks. And if he's going to find fairways and give himself some good looks here, yeah, if he gets, even field average putting, I think he's kind of better than the field, a lot of the other stuff. So yeah, that's a decent look. So I like to call out to, more of maybe a DraftKings play, and then we'll have Ron and Byron talking DraftKings later today, but that's probably a good way to get down on Hayden Buckley. Another one that's, I can't bet him, because once you get to the phase of your career where you're the Ryder Cup captain, we shouldn't actually be seriously considering you for really anything at this point in your career.
Yeah.
But Sea Island kid, South Carolina, Zach Johnson has not been really a threat to do much of anything in the last handful of years. Just shows up here and T20s. So he's 210 to win. He's not going to win this golf tournament. So I'm not even wasting a long shot on.
He's a nice top 40 price though.
He's a really nice top 40 price at 3-1 or a little bit longer than that. Just look at these finishes here. And again, I know course history is noisy, but this is a spot where this guy, he's kind of been out of it for years. But the last 5 years, 8, 7, 61, 6 and 16. I mean, 6 and 16 the last 2 years, he's not competitive anywhere else on tour. Has not walked in with any sort of form, but can come here, a place that he knows he can just kind of play like he's playing on a muni and show up and do pretty well here. I haven't looked at DraftKings pricing. He's probably very low. He's in the low 6s, I'm assuming, in a T40 price or something like that. Zach Johnson will probably make the cut and be in the mix for T20, T40 here. So again, I can't give him outright money even at 210 because I think you'll probably be able to get a good live number because no one's going to take him seriously even if he gets off to a good start on Thursday or Friday. So, but he's worthwhile if you're into T40 parlays or anything like that.
I fuck with that. I'll play some top 40. I can't believe we're betting on Zach Johnson.
I know.
No.
Really, I'm trying to think of the last Ryder Cup captain that I've would consider betting on the last handful of years. I can't think of any.
It's like, I guess we still bet on Tom Brady. Things like this.
That's true.
Old people can win too, guys. So, and then like we mentioned, yes, I know it's the swing season is kind of coming to an end. What is left on the PGA calendar that we can actually bet on? So the father-son
hero,
father-daughter thing. So what's the Hero World Challenge is in 2 weeks. Tiger will be there.
Yes,
that's fun.
So you will want to bet on that, I'm sure, because that's it's Tiger.
We'll bet on that. And then, whatever the father-son, father-daughter, grandfather, stepdad, father-in-law tournament is, like, you can just bring whoever now. It's fun. Like, I've bet on that every year. I will continue to bet the Layman's. Layman brothers getting that, or Layman father and son getting that bailout maybe once in a while. But I'll look at that. But for the most part, this is toodaloo for a bit. We'll probably be back for the Hero World Challenge. Ron will be doing some content, just kind of off-season content, getting ready for the true start of the season here in January. So go check out BetSports Golf. We'll have some free articles over the next 6 weeks, I'm sure. Just kind of some stuff to sate your hunger to bet on golf, and we'll bet what we can. But otherwise, have some happy holidays. Enjoy your Thanksgivings or whatever you celebrate. We'll be back full-time, full raring to go for this. Is it Sony or Tournament of Champions first? Tournament of Champions. Yeah.
Yep. The January 5th. So really that first week. So
hit the ground running.
Yep.
All right. With that, for me, for Ryan, for everyone here at BetSports Golf, catch you on the flip side.